and welcome to episode 95 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate. Thank you so much for joining me today for another podcast episode. I'm really excited to talk about all of the projects I have been working on throughout the past week. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I have quite a few fun tutorials coming up, which I am really excited about. So definitely hit that notification bell again so that you don't miss out on any future videos and the like. Also, check out the links in the description box below. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff down there. Show notes are linked in that area, and then also all of my social media platforms, Make-A-Long information, pattern shops, and some specific things that I'm going to be talking about today. So lots and lots of things jam-packed in that one little area. Alrighty, I'm really excited. If I haven't already said that, excited is apparently my favorite adjective. I think we've all realized that by now. But yeah, I have quite a few things to share. Mostly just progress on a few designs. I have one FO, and then I have a couple of new designs to share. I'm currently dressed like summer because it is so hot. I actually just got back from work, which if you're new around here is babysitting. I babysit 2 sweet girls 4 days a week. It is a lot of work, but such a big blessing. And yeah, I just got back, and it's currently a Friday afternoon. It's like 3 o'clock, and it is, I don't even want to know. It's at least 75 degrees outside. It is so hot. It just feels, it's like blue skies. Not a cloud in the sky, and it's just hot. I'm grateful for it though, because there's kind of, it is kind of nice to get a little hint of summer, I guess, but it also reminds me that I am not quite ready for summer. Not quite ready. Anyways, so with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into the knit and crochet content this week, because like I mentioned, I do have a finished object to share. Okay, I only have one FO this week. Similar to last week, it is a pair of socks. So these socks are now complete. They turned out so cute. I only have one on the blocker. And actually the ends are not woven in on the second sock, so I suppose they're not done yet. But they will be. So these are, I'm actually just going to hold up this one. So it's woven in on this one. So these socks are for my sister's birthday, which is later this month. And it's actually March 15th, and it is currently March 4th. And her gift is like entirely done. Except the card. You have to make a card. But other than that, it's done, which is quite awesome for me. I joked about on Instagram recently in a post how I am like the best. I've developed I don't even remember how I phrased it. But it was like, I love to plan ahead, yet I am the queen of finishing everything last minute. Like, and it's only gifts. Like, I don't know what it is. But regardless, these socks are now done. I used my Success Socks pattern, which is free in my shops. It's just my basic vanilla sock recipe. Afterthought heel, multiple sizes, just super basic pattern. And yeah, they turned out so cute. I think she's going to love them. They have purples and blues and pinks, and then it's all sparkly, which I think is really fun. I don't think it picks up very well on the camera, but alas, they are indeed sparkly. I do have the label somewhere, and I should have pulled it out before I started talking about it. That would have been very wise, Amy Kate, but here it is. I'm not certain I'm pronouncing it right, but I think it's called Kramer is the brand, and then the Sterling Silk and Silver base. This is the colorway Victorian Dusk. So this yarn is 63% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% nylon, and 2% silver. So anyways, really crazy blend, but I think they're going to make for really durable and long-lasting socks, which is going to be awesome. I'm hoping they fit her perfectly. My fingers are crossed because I am slightly nervous, but I think they're going to be great. My hope is that she can, wear them now and then obviously grow into them a little bit. That's my hope. I'm hoping all of that works out how I think it will. Anyways, I'm really excited to have these done. They were so much fun to work on. I just love sock knitting so much, and I love being able to gift socks. It is very, very exciting. Okay, so that is my only FO this week. And then even more surprisingly, I am actually not working on any works in progress right now that aren't designs. So we're just going to go ahead and skip over that entire section, which is crazy. And let's talk about quite a few designs. Okay, I literally have so many designs to talk about this week. I have been working on so many things. Perhaps a few too many, but at the same time, I am working just very hard, period, at, developing a good balance and maintaining a good balance. And while this is definitely a few too many things to be working on, I realize that. They're all going so well, and I'm really grateful for that. And they're all, so different from one another that it's really simple to just, pick one up and work on it and just get some progress done. So, first things first, I was working on this new cardigan design last week, and it is now done. I am obsessed with it. It is so cozy. I'm going to put it on real quick so that I can show you, but it is way too hot for this right now. So this new design is so cute. I love it so much. I love how it turned out. It's exactly what I envisioned. So here is what it looks like. I can stand up, but I don't think it's really going to help the situation a whole lot. So it is a little bit long. It's honestly my perfect length for cardigans. It's just past my bottom. It's not as long as the shorts that I'm wearing right now. The sleeves are super oversized, but then they come in at the cuffs, which I really love this shape. It's my favorite shape to design, but it's also one of my favorites to wear just for the cozy factor. And then it has a single crochet border around the entire cardigan with, of course, this really fun open stitch pattern. I had a blast working on this. It was really quick, just really simple, which is my favorite thing to design, but also my favorite thing to make, which is why they go hand in hand so well. And yeah, so I have made substantial progress on actual, the pattern writing process. So not only the cardigan is done, but the pattern is almost done as well. So stay tuned for a tester call. I am really hoping to get that out this week. So the best way to get notifications of that is to subscribe to my newsletter list, which is linked down below. I have an entire, just newsletter, it's not separate, but I have an entire list that's dedicated to people who receive tester calls first. So I'll send out that email, they get first dibs, and then if I don't get enough people, or if I want to attract more people, whatever the case may be, I will also post on Instagram. So stay tuned for that, because I'm hoping to do that later this week. I'm trying to get the pattern completely done, at least to the best of my ability before the testing process, of course, before I send out that call, because I don't want to, overcommit and then put myself on a deadline that I can't uphold. So anyways, definitely stay tuned for that. I am really excited to get this design out in the world. It's a little late, in my opinion, to release a cardigan design, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm aiming for, I don't even know, I guess testers need a lot of time, so I'm probably going to do a May release for this one, honestly. Just to give 8 weeks or so for testers. I think that should be the plan. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm thinking, after saying that aloud, I think I might make a cotton version, and see how that turns out. Yeah, I literally just had that idea, but I think that could be really cute and better for this time of year, because it is now March. Believe it or not, we are in March. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm not sad. I love spring, I love summer. Every month has its perks, in my opinion, but I really, really love the fall and winter months for so many reasons, and so I'm kind of sad to see them gone again, I guess. But regardless, I'm really excited about this design. I love how it turned out. The yarn that I used, I didn't even mention it, is Hobie Lollipop, and this is the colorway. It's just going to be a number, color number 13. So it has all of these pinks and purples and grays and whites. I just love the palette so much. So I also really like it with this shirt. I kind of thought it might clash. I was thinking about it for thumbnail purposes too, but I don't think it did. I think it looks kind of cool. Anyways, I really like it. I hope that you guys are excited about this design. Definitely subscribe to my newsletter list if you'd like to be a tester. I would absolutely love to have you. Okay, moving on, let's show this blanket. So I am currently working on my first modular or motif blanket design, and it is going so well. It took me forever to get the actual motif or square just right. It took so long last week. Like, that was kind of the biggest thing that I worked on, was just getting this pattern right. But I did it, and I am so happy with how it's coming out. And now I just get to make 25 squares, and then I will seam them together and add a border, and that'll be that. So I'm kind of taking my time with this design. Obviously, blankets just take a lot of work, take a lot of time to create. So I am hoping for an April release for this design. That's the plan. It's possible that it'll be at the end of March if I can, you know, get all of the ducks in a row how they need to be, but we'll see. That's kind of, I guess, my plan right now. But here is what one of the squares looks like, and I have made quite a few this week. So here's one. They have been in a basket all jammed together, so they're not actually crinkly, even if they might look it a little bit. But here's what one square looks like. Like I said, I'm just really excited with how these are turning out. So all of the squares are going to be the same pattern. I'm just going to be alternating this pink with this one, or this kind of purple color. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I'm making 25 total squares, 13 of one color and 13 of another. And I haven't decided what I want my main color to be, but regardless, it's going to be about equal. So I'm excited to see how they all look together. I'm currently just working on these like light pink ones, and I have made a total of 5, it looks like, so far, which is a good number to start out with. I am hoping to have all of the pink squares done for next week's episode. That's kind of my plan right now. I think that would be a really good goal to try to accomplish. And then I will move on to the purpley ones. I can't think of a word to describe this purple. It's like, I don't even know. It's not eggplant. Like, it's too light to be eggplant, too dark to be magenta, maybe orchid? I don't know. The color number is 19, if you're curious. But this is Hobie Mega Ball, and this yarn is huge, obviously. I mean, the ball is like as big as my torso, but it is so fun to work with. I love the colors. I also really love the way that it feels. It's similar to Knit Picks Brava for sure. I would say that it's a little bit thicker, like just a little bit thicker of a worsted weight, which is not a bad thing at all in my opinion. I actually really like that. I like my worsted weight yarns to be nice and sturdy. So anyways, I'm having a lot of fun with this project. It's going really well, which I am really grateful for. And I've done the calculations, and I should have enough yarn to make it as big as I am hoping to make it. So I am just hoping those calculations are on point. Obviously they will be for the pattern, but you know, once you just get there, it's kind of hard to calculate super accurately. But yeah, it's going great, and I'm really, really excited about that project. Okay, next up, I actually designed an entire pair of socks this week. So these are going to be a new shorty sock design. I meant to grab my size small blockers, and I didn't, so I apologize for that. But guys, these are so cute and so fun and so quick to make. So I have not nailed down a pattern and name yet, but these are going to be releasing really soon, definitely later this month. I used Knit Picks High Desert Birch Tweed, and I am just obsessed with this yarn. I think it is so beautiful. Of course, y'all know I love tweeds, but then having it on this like just kind of oatmeal white color, I think is so, so beautiful. And yeah, these were so fun to make. So they've got a really fun, just knit and purl kind of checkered texture pattern, and they were a blast to make and so quick. So quick, which I love. And yeah, I'm really excited about them. So I'm going to be making another sample here soon. I actually grabbed some, what's the brand? Knit Picks Mighty Stitch in like a light purple color. So I'm going to be doing another sample in that. I think it's going to highlight the stitch pattern really well as also. So I'm excited to see how that works up. But yeah, these turned out so cute. I'm definitely excited to release the pattern. Because I think it's gonna be so fun. I think y'all are gonna love it. I'm really excited. So this is gonna be a free pattern on my blog, and then of course a PDF on Ravelry and Etsy. And yeah, stay tuned for that because these were so much fun to make, and I am really excited to launch them later this month, like I said. Okay, what else do I have to talk about? I have made some scrubbies this week. So this is actually a pattern that I have been itching to write up and release, and then also have a video tutorial for forever, like for so long. I have been wanting to do this, and I finally had some time this week to just do it. I was off on Tuesday. It's typically my off day, and I spent a good amount of time that day filming tutorials, which was so much fun. I love filming tutorials. I have a good setup right now, which I'm so grateful for, and I think just as a whole, I've gotten more comfortable on camera and tutorial-wise, and I'm just having so much fun doing it. So I filmed a tutorial for these scrubbies. It's going to be coming out really, really soon, as well as the written pattern, of course. But here's what they look like. So these are just really simple. They are double crochet at the top, and then single crochet at the bottom. They worked in a round. They're so quick, so quick. Like, it takes me maybe 5 minutes to make one of these. The entire tutorial is like, I don't know, 10 minutes long maybe. Like, it's really short, which I think is really helpful for a lot of people. And yeah, so I just made a few. I am putting together a little like gift basket sort of thing for my best friend for her birthday, which is next week. And I wanted to include some of these scrubbies, so I'm really excited to be able to do that. All of these are actually going to her, and then this is the one I made for the tutorial. So yeah, it was super fun to make all of these so quick. Like, I made these 3 Tuesday morning. It was actually during, I had done like a lot of school, and then I took a break and had breakfast and made these scrubbies, and it was absolutely amazing. I love it when my off days can be productive and fun at the same time. It's definitely my favorite combination, for sure. Anyways, I am loving these. They are just the best. Like, these scrubbies are awesome. I also love the yarn that I use, and I talked more about it in the tutorial, and I wished I had a label so that I could remember the exact name of it, because I don't. But this is a yarn by, unless this is it, which it's not. This is a yarn by Hobby Lobby. I think it's called Scrub It, maybe. But basically, this is what it looks like. And it is literally like tulle, but in yarn form, and it is the best thing ever. Like, I cannot recommend this more. I haven't been making scrubbies for years and years and years and years. They're my mom's favorite. I have given them to so many people now. They're just awesome, and that's not from like a, again, not a boastful standpoint. It's just the standpoint of they just work really, really well for practical purposes. And so for years, I would buy a spool of tulle, and you can get more bang for your buck with the 6-inch height, like tall ones. So it would be a spool of tulle that was 6 inches tall, and then I would unravel the entire thing and cut it in half to make like 2 big long 3-inch strips basically, and then I would wind those into balls, which is fine, but it's, you know, another step. And then actually working with the tulle is really hard on your hands. It's fine, it's doable, but it is not easy in my opinion. And so, like, a couple years after I started making them, Hobby Lobby came out with this yarn, and it is the best thing ever. Like, I have made 3 scrubbies out of this, and I can make at least 6 more with just this amount of yarn. So that's like 9 or 10 scrubbies with just 1 ball of yarn with this pattern. And that, to me, is absolutely amazing. So if you do more kits, or if you like to make Christmas gifts ahead of time, or even like housewarming gifts, I think these would be so amazing. It's just really nice to have a couple of skeins in your stash. And yeah, I love it. So again, I used it in the tutorial, and it'll be coming out, and then I'll have more information in the description box of that video of just other yarns that you could use, and like how to do the tulle thing that I was talking about. But this is, I don't even remember how much it costs. I think it's less than $5 a skein, but Hobby Lobby's yarn also goes on 30% off, I think, like once a month for a week. So that's definitely when to grab it. But I would like totally pay more for this. Like, it is that much better in my opinion. Anyway, there's a big long tangent about that, but it's just the best. It really is. It's awesome. It makes my life so much easier. Okay, so I shared this yarn last week. This is Leap of Faith yarns. We are doing a collaboration. I'm going to be designing a sock pattern using her yarn, and it is already so fun. I just love her business. I love her as a person, and it's just so amazing to be able to come in contact with people and do collaborations like this through Instagram and YouTube and just through this business as a whole. It is absolutely amazing. But I am using her Bryce, I think is what it's called, Canyon colorway in the fingering or sock weight base to create a pair of socks. I have literally just started these. Lots of time this week went into getting a cardigan pattern ready to cast on. I actually don't have it to show yet because I am still working out a couple of kinks with that pattern. It has been very challenging, but I'm excited to share it next week. It is coming. All of that to say, I have this design all laid out. I have just barely gotten started on the actual sample. Here's what I have. Like, literally, I have done the cast on in half a round. And I had time to knit half a round this morning before I left for work. So, if that doesn't show you how busy this day has been, I don't know what will. But no, regardless, I am obsessed with this colorway. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait to continue working with it. It is just so beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. I would love to have like an entire sweater in this color. I just think that would be absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, stay tuned for next week because I'm going to have a lot more progress to share on this design. Obviously it's just getting started right now, but it's going to be a really pretty lace stitch pattern, mid-calf length socks. It's going to be so fun. I'm excited to make some more progress on that. And definitely stay tuned for the pattern because it will be releasing soon. And I am really looking forward to getting that out to you guys. Okay, I have one more thing to talk about in Design Talk this week. And it kind of leads me into another conversation that I wanted to just briefly have and mention because I think it's a really important topic. And I have personal experience with it now. And so I just kind of wanted to share, you know, what I've learned and just how I plan to apply it as a designer in the future. So I just launched this new dishcloth design. These released last Saturday. I am hosting a year-long make-along this year. 2022 Dishcloth Mal is the running name. I have a Facebook group for it. It is so much fun. I highly recommend that you join us. Super laid back knit along or make along. You can knit or crochet, of course. Literally, you can crochet or knit however many dishcloths you like. I'm challenging myself to do about one a week, and many other makers are doing that same thing, but some people are doing one a month. You know, literally whatever you can manage is going to be 100% supported, and it's just developing into a really beautiful community of makers, and I think that is so fun and beautiful. So my hope is to release a new pattern every single month. And I'm really excited about that. So far, I have done it. I released 2 in January to kick off the make-along. And then I did the Valentine dishcloth in February. And now the Rhythm dishcloth for March. And so here's what the dishcloth looks like. I'm going to show you this one because it's a solid color and it's going to be easier to see. So this is a corner-to-corner dishcloth that uses the linen or moss stitch. I am so excited about this design. It turned out so good. I am honestly really proud of it. I just love the way that it turned out. And I wanted to talk about a couple of other things about this design as well. So when I made it, I made this design, like made it up, made samples, all of that completely on a whim. I was planning on starting this month's dishcloth soon, but I didn't know what direction I wanted to go yet, and so I just hadn't really done anything about it. And then kind of spur of the moment, one weekend, I decided to make it. And I just started the project and ended up with an entire dishcloth, and it was successful on the first try. And as a designer, and as me personally, that never happens. Like, I usually have to, you know, either swatch to even see if the idea will work and then start the project and then, you know, do something and have to rip it out or whatever. Or if it's something small like a dishcloth anyway, I will start the thing like at least 10 times to get it right. And that doesn't include, you know, actually writing the pattern and make sure everything is correct and easy to follow and suitable for, you know, any level of maker. There's just a lot that goes into it, and it's usually not as straightforward as this specific pattern was. So I was really excited to release this pattern. Obviously it has been now. However, I was contacted by another designer, Emily of Crochet Crochet Creations here on YouTube. I will link her channel down in the description box as well. And she shared that she had also recently designed a dishcloth very similar to this. Now, I had no idea she had designed that project. I enjoy watching knitting podcasts, but currently I have not had the time to do so. I'm like way behind in all of my favorite people, and I hadn't seen her podcast. I hadn't seen her. I don't think she had posted about it on Instagram, but I could be completely wrong about that. Regardless, I had no idea that she was even doing it. I 100% thought this was my brilliant idea, and I was ready to run with it. Anyway, so basically she said she had recently designed something similar and was planning on releasing it soon. And that kind of jumped into us having a really good, kind, respectful conversation on just how to handle that situation. Two different designers designing something very similar and hoping to both release it. And we had also both put in so much work to, get to this release. Like, for me personally, I had already written the entire PDF. I was getting ready to launch it in just a few days. I had filmed the tutorial. I was working on editing it. Like, it was a huge deal and so much time to spend on the pattern. Anyway, so we were talking, and then in the midst of that conversation, I randomly Googled some keywords from this pattern. So I think I put in, like, linen stitch, corner to corner dishcloth, or something along those lines into the Google search field, and sure enough, a couple of other designers had very similar patterns as well. So of course, from a designing standpoint, you have to ask yourself how you handle this, because obviously, you never want to copy somebody else. You never want to claim somebody else's work as your own. And that is unfortunately something that can be a big issue in this community and with other designers. I personally have not had experience with it. I have not had somebody, to my knowledge, copy one of my patterns. I have not copied somebody else's patterns. Like, that's just not something that I take point in. Obviously, I don't believe in it. But at the same time, there are a limited number of stitches, right? And there's a limited number of knit stitches. There's a limited number of crochet stitches. There is a limited amount of things that you can do. And while as a whole, this art is amazing and you can make and design anything you want, there is a limit somewhere. And so the chances of somebody designing something similar in regards to something as simple as this, now I will say that a garment is different. But for something like this, if it was something small, something that uses one stitch, one technique even, to create such a practical item, it's not really surprising that there's other versions out there. But the point that me and Emily came to, and the point that I want to make here, is that if you are a designer, or even if you are in a completely different field, if you are just a knitter, or if you're just a crocheter who follows other people's patterns, or if you do something like if you're a writer, if you are a sewist and you design sewing patterns, whatever the case may be, you are unique and your patterns are unique and what you create is unique. And so for me, my patterns are not going to be the same as somebody else's. I have a different way of teaching. I have a different way, like my format is different. My abbreviations could be different. Like the pattern could be completely different even if the finished item is separate. So I just kind of wanted to share that story, and I want it to be a source of encouragement, and not encouragement to, copy somebody else's pattern or copy somebody else's idea. Nothing like that. And again, that is not what I have done or will ever do. But at the same time, it's important to know that you have something unique to offer. Just as if you were going to publish a tutorial on how to work the crochet, the single crochet stitch or something. There's 100 million tutorials on how to work the single crochet stitch on YouTube, but nobody's going to teach it exactly like you do because you are your own person. And so I think that there is just a lot of beauty in recognizing that. And until I had this conversation, I don't think I would have been able to, actually put that into words. And I think it's been really beautiful for me to recognize. And I hope that it could be an encouragement for other people to recognize as well. So anyways, that was just a really big thing that happened this week. And I wanted to be sure to share it because I thought the podcast would be the most appropriate way to mention it. Anyways, all of that aside, that was obviously a lot of talking and a lot of information, and yet another really long design segment, but I hope that it was entertaining and, inspiring for future projects and whatever that you are currently working on. But I do have a little devotional. It's a little bit different this week, but I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. So let's go ahead and hop into that. Okay, so like I mentioned, I wanted to do something a little bit different for devotional this week, and that is talk about a book that I read throughout the week. So one of my 2022 goals was to just read more. I want to read more while I knit or while I crochet. I want to read more, before bed, just whenever the case may be. That's just a goal of mine, and so far I have done really good about it, and I have definitely been reading more, and I have enjoyed it so much. Which is just really, really awesome. We have tons of books at our house. Like, my family as a whole just loves books and loves to read, and I obviously completely agree. I have, all of these books right here. But yeah, anyway, I'm just finding love again for reading, and I think that it is really, really exciting. Anyways, so the book that I read this week and how it applies to this segment of the podcast is because it's called Killing Jesus. So this is by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. Now, I could talk for a very long time about this author, and I think many people could. I do not know this man, Bill O'Reilly, as a lot of people do. I have not watched his show. Apparently, he does have a show, or he did. I'm not even honestly sure at this point. Maybe I should have looked that up, but my apologies. However, I have read a good number of his books, specifically in this series. So him and Martin Dugard have come together, and they've written Killing Jesus, I actually have quite a few of them. Killing Kennedy, Killing Reagan, Killing Lincoln was my absolute favorite. That is such a good book. Like, I could not recommend it more. It's absolutely amazing. Anyways, one of the most beautiful things about these books is that it gives, historical events in an entertaining way, but also an educational and factual way. And for me, my generation, I'm 19, it's 2022, it's really important to still remember some of the biggest moments in our nation's history. And I think reading books like this and watching movies, I've mentioned it before, just gives me more understanding about these topics that I could never relate to on a level that many people older than me currently can, in generations before me. But it just gives me a little bit more understanding about it, because it's really, really important, and it still happened, and we still have things to learn from it. And I think that we being my generation and future generations, should still be aware. And so sources like this, movies, books, etc., just help educate and teach us and help us be aware. So anyway, I've had this book for a while, and I just read it this week, and it was really, really good. And I think a couple of things I wanted to mention about it. One, I would call myself a solid Christian. I have grown in my relationship with the Lord a lot, especially through some certain things that have happened these past few months. I feel like I have grown a lot, like a lot in my relationship with Him. It is so much stronger. It's stronger now than it ever has been, and I pray that it will only get stronger from here, and that it will continue to get stronger. That's exactly how it's supposed to be as a Christian. And I wouldn't recommend, well, I don't know if I would say that. I personally don't think I would recommend this book to somebody who isn't a strong Christian. This book gives the killing Jesus, Jesus' crucifixion, from a historical standpoint. It is not from a biblical standpoint. It is not from a Christian standpoint. It is true. It is factual. It is correct. But it's not the same as, reading one of the Gospels in the Bible. It just doesn't talk about everything that happened in there. And so I think that is really important to just remember. That said, there's certain things that are mentioned in here and teach me in here that the Bible wouldn't have done. I now know, if I can talk, more about the history and what was going on in the world when Jesus was crucified, more than I did before, and more than I would be able to glean from just reading that chapter in the Bible. And I will also say that parts of it are really, really sad, because Jesus' crucifixion was the biggest event to happen in history. But it was also a really beautiful thing, especially from a standpoint of us as Christians. Jesus' crucifixion saved us and made it to where we can have a personal relationship with the Father a relationship that couldn't have happened as deep as it can now before Jesus was crucified. And this book doesn't talk about those things. It talks about, how Jesus died. It doesn't really talk about why. And from what we believe, from what I believe as, again, a Christian, Jesus was perfect. And he is the person that we should base our lives off of now. But again, that isn't what this book talks about. And so I learned a lot, and I would recommend this book. I would also say that I think from a just standpoint of reading a book by Bill O'Reilly in the past, I think Martin Dugard kind of brings out the best in him. I read a book recently by Bill O'Reilly, and it was just not an enjoyable read. It was just kind of a really rude book, and a book that I did not agree with. So I would really recommend this book. I wouldn't necessarily recommend every book by this author. I would recommend this series, I should say, not just this book. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to mention it. I read it. I'm kind of still processing it, I guess, but it was really good nonetheless. And yeah, I recommend it. So I would encourage you to read it, and then I would encourage you to read it in the actual Bible and be encouraged by it. Obviously, it was a very sad event, but it was also the foundation, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then even the events that happened after Jesus' crucifixion are so impactful, like the veil tearing and people just declaring that they were wrong and Jesus was who he says he was, or who he said he was. And that is one of the most powerful parts of the entire story, and that isn't in this book, again, because it's not on that Christian foundation. So anyways, I would recommend it, and I thought I would just share it with you guys because I thought it would be kind of a fun twist to the usual devotional segments, I suppose. But in terms of a life update, it has been a pretty good week. It has actually been a really good week, all things considered. It's currently Friday, so we are at the end of the week. My brother has a few soccer games this weekend, so this is most likely my only chance to record this weekend, so I'm glad that I am doing it when I can, of course. We celebrated my brother's birthday yesterday on March 3rd. He turned 18, which is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe I now have a sibling who is an adult. It's insane. I'm the oldest. I'm 19. So, I've been in this young adulthood thing for a couple of years now, but it's just weird to, see them all growing up. It's so strange. But we had a really good time celebrating him. And I've had a pretty good school week. And yeah, it's been good. I only have a couple months left in this semester, which is just absolutely crazy and equally amazing. I will also say I'm ready for a school break. I'm ready. I'm going to get a couple of weeks off before the summer semester, so I'm really excited for those weeks for sure. But yeah, I hope that you guys are having an amazing week. I hope that you are having time to get so much making done. I hope that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and again, click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And then check out all of the links in the description box below to all of the places you can find me on social media and pattern shops, show notes. Everything in between is linked down there, so definitely check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy making. Bye.